It is my pleasure and delight to welcome Chancellor Tammeil Gilkerson to the stage. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Well, good morning. Oh my goodness. Come on now. Come on now. Good morning. Good morning. So good to see you all. I was like, oh, let me come closer because the lights are a little bit. How's everybody doing? Yeah, good. Hey, to Zoom land too. That's always hard, right? So it's such a pleasure to be with you today. First of all, I want to say, let's do another round of applause for the panel that we just had. Incredible. I had a little chance to work with Dean Fuentes because he went to Evergreen with me, and then I left him. So, we'll see what happens, right? No, I'm just joking. Anyways, so it was great, but wonderful job. And just want to thank, again, everybody who does so much work to get us going today. So I always feel, not just to be myself, which is all I can ever be, which is around today talking about passion, purpose, and radical possibilities. And again, like always, I have, hi Didem, good to see you. I just have this nervousness about talking to you all. I don't know. Somebody said why, and I don't really know, but I get very nervous about it. And so this year, I was like, I'm gonna be better, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna rest. So I got home at 7 something, and then I was sitting there, and then our new deputy chancellor called me around 8 something while he's driving, so I talked to him a little bit, and then I dilly-dallied, and then I do what I told you I do before, which is I start to look through everything. So I was texting Mark Johnson, I need to look at pictures, right? So I must have this process. And it's because I think I want to just say how much I care about you. It is really a thing about I don't get much time to ever really be with you all, and so it means a lot to me to have time to speak to you all. And I'd love for us to be in conversation more and not be standing here, but it was that way. So then I couldn't figure out what I wanted to say, so I fell asleep. So I set my alarm for 1 a.m. So I went to bed at 11, I woke up at 1, and then I've been up ever since. And I finished the presentation at 6:30. I got in the shower, and so, and Tina, Dr. Vasconcelos, had a joke the other day about, well, shoot, who knows what she's going to say because she won't know, and she's exactly right. That is exactly who I am. But I'm honored to be here and just so thrilled to welcome you back to the fall semester. So, y'all, it's only been 7 months. So it's been 7 months that I've been chancellor, and that's the picture that I sent on the first day. Those were my new business cards, yay! And the amazing people at the district office who welcomed me on my first day when really nobody really was around. And so I just was reflecting on the fact that it feels a lot longer. A lot longer, but it's only been 7 months. And so I was like, wow. And so I wanted to recognize Trustee Quinlan, Lewis Quinlan, who's here, an amazing trustee, and want to just again thank Trustee Quinlan and the Board of Trustees for honoring me and trusting me with the opportunity to be in service back in my community where I live and what I love. And so this really is going to be a little bit of a reflection of some of the stuff we talked about before and things that I promised to you. So let me go ahead and get started. This year we don't have the screen down here, so now I'm so I have started this thing where I write the board every day. Not every day, every week. So this was the quote I sent the board really in week 1. So I write them every week, and I put a quote at the end of every week, at the end of my weekly communication. So give them an update about what's going on. So I'm gonna share with you some of the things, because part of my need to put quotes is to what? Ground myself, inspire myself, keep us focused together, right? And hopefully inspire them and also calm us all down sometimes, right? About the things that we're doing. And so this was my week 1 quote. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase, right? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I really feel like this has been a huge leap of faith. And I want to thank and honor everybody who was so generous to me. It was a little bit of an out-of-body experience speaking in January. I think it was like cathartic in some ways. It was trying to just like put out there the love, the care, and like how good of a job I want to do for you and how I want us to be in community together. And I don't really remember much of it, but people, you know, which is probably a good thing. And we still haven't told my children that I talked about them. So like, but again, I just want to say thank you for that generosity. It has really buoyed me as we've sort of gone forward and thought about the things that are in front of us as a district. So I want to just, yay, thanks, Fred. I just want to remind us of our mission. So the mission is we are a collaborative of colleges advancing social and economic transformation for students in the community through quality education rooted, like roots, rooted in equity, social justice, environmental sustainability, and partnerships. That's the mission. A collaborative of colleges. It's written right in there, right? It's really important that we're grounded in the mission and what we are doing. And so, you get goal setting. So the board and I were working on goals, right? You see it on the closed session agenda and you're like, that woman's talking about her goals all the time. Absolutely. That's all I'm doing with the board, right? But the overarching goal, which has many, many sub-goals, but I wanted you to know, this is the overarching goal that the Board of Trustees gave me. And we worked on this together, to build a strong foundation for the Peralta Colleges to effectively serve the students of the district by addressing systemic challenges, right? In operations and by building trust and confidence in the district. That's my charge. That's what they've asked me to come in and do. And I was like, okay. Right? Like the word systemic is like, right? But this is a woman who's talked about racial justice and like really like systemic things that have been going on and like thinking about that. And so why not us, right? That's what I said to you in January. Why not us? Why not now? Why not here? Why not for our community? Why not for, right? And so this is sort of blends for you to think about the quotes and the things that you'll see. So let's just talk about passion, right? So I coined the passion, purpose, possibilities, remember before I came. And I want to just say thank you to the marketing communications team at the district office. They're amazing. And they just took it and ran with it, right? Everything's branded with it, whatever. People are saying it. I'm kind of loving it a little bit. And I was like, oh yeah, you could see it on a t-shirt. No, but also I want to thank Chelsea and Marla, because you'll see in some things here and all around the district. Anytime I wear my P hat, for those of you who I shame people, by the way, because people are like, where'd you get that hat? I want to know. And I'm like, they publicly gave it to me at Flex. You weren't there? Oh, I see. No, I'm just joking. So, you have a little fun with people. Yes. So I wear it all the time. You'll see it in some pictures. And the funny thing is now everybody's like, where'd you get that hat? I want one. Is it a Peralta hat? And we're like, you could go to Amazon and get it it's called Puma. But one day we'll brand some hats. But passion, right? So Peralta, passion, it feels like it. So I want to talk about it a little bit. So these quotes are not in order of the weeks that I've been here. So, right, 7 months, 31 weeks. That's kind of what, when I went back through my communications and saw this. But this bell hooks quote really speaks to me. True resistance begins with people confronting pain and wanting to do something to change it. You all said that on our very first interaction together, right? Remember we did the interaction with the Mentimeter, and folks said what they were wanting for our district. And there was a lot of pain that I could feel. And so what I committed to was I did 15 formal listening sessions in the first several months that I was here, and many that were informal. And I made a promise to you that I'd come back and tell you what they said. So that's what I'm going to do today. So the rocks we carry. So this is a picture in front of my house. So there are rocks in front of my house, and you'll notice some of them are painted. So when I got the house, I was amazed because there were some painted rocks outside, and you see words like, come together, love ruthlessly, a heart, be the change. And I was like, this is my house. Absolutely, it's calling to me. Like the stones in front of the walkway speak to my spirit. And so I began this thing of actually having people decorate stones when they come. They pick a rock, they paint it. You come to my house, you paint a rock, you leave it, right? I didn't put the picture of Helen Benjamin, Dr. Benjamin. He's come to my house, and she did one that says rejoice. That was her rock, that is now in front of my house. I didn't get the best paint the first time I did it, so some of them are not like lasting as long as these, but in my heart, I remember what they said, and I have lots of pictures of them. But I think about rocks as, the stones we carry, right? The burdens, the pieces, sometimes they fill us, they're with us, right? We're holding them. I should have worn a dress with pockets, so I realized that later after the outfit decision. So let me tell you about the listening sessions. So, my things aren't working. Okay, let me stop here. You got a preview. But let me first say this. I want to just say how grateful I am. So many of you came out and took the time to participate in the listening sessions. You came, you spoke to me, and I value what you say. I think it was very hard to hold space for everybody in some ways, right? And so I'm using this metaphor to explain to you and visually show you how I felt, right? I walked away from each session feeling very it's a lot of, this is a lot. You've been carrying it around, give it to me. That's what I wanted to do, right? Give it to me. Let me have it. Let me take it for a second. And I would come back to my office or to my house, and I would stick the rock in. And I've been thinking about your rocks as I've been approaching the work that we're doing together. So there were several salient themes that came out of the listening sessions, and they're not comprehensive. And these aren't the only things I'm working on, but I want to tell you what I heard. So the first main point was the expediency of the contract process. Overwhelmingly, and I want to say this in a way that gives honor to everybody who works on these things, and I'll talk about later in terms of what we're doing, but there were tears. People were crying. People were frustrated. They were angry. They were I'm really good at a lot of things, and then it seems like I always do it wrong. I always have to start over. It takes a long time. I don't know what to say to vendors. I'm just so, right? It was probably one of the top things, if I was to map what people said. This process was painful for faculty who were trying to get internships, right? Everybody was talking about it. And I was like, oh, okay. The other one was delayed vendor payments. So in addition to the fact that, and you've seen it, if you're paying attention to what's going on in the district, and I have nothing to do, we have to tell each other the truth, because we will never get to what? Actually doing something. We do not pay vendors on time. We have had, and I want to just say thank you, if anybody sees this, any vendors, I appreciate you. You have had the back of the district for many years and been patient. You have done things, right? We have good, solid partners in this community who have been patient with us. And some of it's us, some of it might be them, right? Some of it's just communication. I think a lot of it's communication, actually. That's what I found out when I investigated more. But I'm holding space for vendors. And one embarrassing thing happened is, so I'm at a conference, I'm out in the community, and a colleague from the system state area is so the energy company wants to talk to you because you have thousands of dollars of outstanding utility payments that are due for your district. We're going to send you years and years of bills. And you remember what I told you? Ain't nobody gonna talk smack about my colleges or my district, right? So it's very hard to be, and this is me, thank you so much, appreciate you, we're gonna get to it, right? you just, like, that's what I've been trying to do, right? There are days, though, that I'm sitting in my office. This is an example of my office. Just sitting in my office with my rocks, not feeling so great about it, right? But it is a true live reality for, right, you all, and this was a pain point for you, so I want to call it out. So another pain point, major pain point for everybody, was lack of communication and transparency, right? Overwhelmingly. Okay, we don't know what's happening, budget decision changes, right? General things, we don't know what's going on. So there was this concern about that, right? And so this was tied up with the participatory governance process. I could even see it at the district office, and I'm gonna talk about that later, right? Like departments, not talking to departments, not, you know what I mean? It was like madness. You were like in the same building. And I know it was happening across the district, right? But it's interesting, one of the things I learned right away was that I went on those campus visits. Do y'all remember? I went and visited the campus when I did. Well, I took my assistants with me because I was like, it's really important. Like, we support the colleges. I want you to know who they are. Do you know how many people had never met Sasha Amiri? Sasha, who basically helps with contracts, so they'd never met, seen each other, gotten emails. It is very hard to have a relationship with somebody and humanize somebody when all you get is emails, right? So there is this thing where part of it is not just the way in which we communicate, it's just the lack or the feeling of the lack of communication, but it's like the being able to, right, know who to call and like connect with. And that's what people were saying. And then we had our governance leaders just, how dare you hire, and look at what's going on, and what are all these things, right? And rightfully, right? Like, we want to know what's going on. Why aren't you following your policies and procedures? Absolutely, we should be held to a standard. Lack of accountability was the other thing, and trust, including following established procedures, right? So people were saying, like, you keep breaking our trust because you're not doing X, right? And part of me's like, what policy am I supposed to look up? I mean, like, I literally am like looking up the APs all the time. It's similar to what he just said about like putting contract in ChatGPT, right? Like, it was an interesting thing. Do you know how many policies and procedures we have? I know one Joseph Polanski does, but everybody else, you know what I mean? Like, it's quite a bit. And staying on top of it, expecting everybody to stay on top of it, and when you're not onboarded appropriately to like even know what to do. So when the board said, when we decided, and I wanted them to know, it's systemic. Like, I can't do this overnight. It's systemic. Like, right, this is not gonna be a thing that's gonna happen today or tomorrow, but this is one of those things, right? So lack of accountability. Folks are feeling it. So another major pain point when I was out at the colleges, like everywhere was, and it was very hard for me because I love the district service center and the folks we have there, but like overwhelmingly the complaint was a lack of responsiveness. We don't know who to email, nobody responds to their email, nobody's there when I go by, nobody like answers the phone, like it's lost in an abyss, it's sitting in a queue, the website's not even correct, right? Like, so legitimate things that they were saying about what was going on, right? So people were harboring and saying, and then what happens is, right, you make up your own narrative. I know those district office people ain't trying to, right? Like, we're here at the colleges on the front line trying, and I'm not like, there's no shade on that at all, right? I'm just saying, like, what happens is there's a level of frustration that starts to build after a time period when you're not sure. And things you're on a time scale or whatever. So carrying around rocks, right? Carrying around all this weight related to it. The other one was unsafe working conditions, right? I mean, nobody's surprised by this, right? Elevators being out on the first week of classes, I didn't feel great about it. You know, we were here at Flex and the elevator in Laney Tower wasn't working, right? Like, absolutely. And I was like, how do I get in front of you and say, the stuff that was happening in 2017 is still happening today, is still, you know, like very, very hard, because I don't stand in judgment of the system, right? It is partially what it is, but at the same time, people were saying this. And so I heard very, very, very clearly at COA, at Merritt, at Laney, particular, those campuses in particular, more so, just how frustrating it is, how you've been holding together with duct tape and other things to try to teach in classrooms in places that are not suitable. And I have district off employees who are saying that too. It's cold in my office. It's freezing. It's like cold. It's like, and I honestly want to tell you, I mean, I have blankets in my office. I mean, I walked up every stair, you know, and then I'm again saying, like, I'm not an engineer. Like, I don't know how to, you know what I mean? Like, if I could fix it, I would. But I was like, so that was a major concern, right? So I'm hearing, you know, and it's person after person after person. So these are, again, the most salient ones that I was hearing. Another main pain point, and this might be but this is what I heard a lot of, is the distribution of FTF continues to be a problem. Oh, can I go back? I apologize. Let me go back to this one. I actually really need to talk about this one. I rolled over safety. And I think I did it because Abdul and I were talking yesterday, and I was just like, people were in tears and upset about how unsafe they feel in their workplaces, de-escalating things with students, feeling that the current ambassadors don't know how to de-escalate things. And again, this is no shade to any employee or anything like that, but this was like employees' lived experiences. They're saying, Chancellor, and I was saying it, you can't even walk down, right, A Street without like sort of having to do things. So, you know that little patch of red when we got rid of that RV, I want to thank BC. Our staff went out and cleaned all that trash from that one huge one. Now we haven't, you know, and I, like, honestly, like I really do understand the lived experience of our unhoused community. I want to just tell a story. Just the other day, our new COO was here at the district office. We have a lot of abandoned cars at the district office. Like, we have a bunch of things just sitting there and just sitting around. And so he was out looking through, and he's like, I want these things removed, blah, 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 blah. And he goes into one of the vans, and he can tell somebody was living there. So we're not trying to be inhumane or anything like that. So he actually went and talked to the gentleman, found out that he was between jobs, like actually works over not too far away, and was walking, and this was like, he didn't break in, right? He just kind of unlatched an already open window and was staying there because he didn't have anywhere else. So rather than just throw him out, he went and found resources and said, here are shelters that work for you who, you know, in your male age range, and then got him placed into services, and then we moved 3 cars because we don't need to be a junkyard over at the district office. That's a safety concern, right? We're continuing to try to work with the city and with other folks, and I'll talk about that more, but I just, like, it was very, very hard for me to hear how unsafe people felt. And I would just say even more so at Merritt College too, it was very, very palpable the amount of fear that their staff had about what was happening there. And so, you know, you have to juxtapose this, what's happening in the towns that we live in, right? So I was at the district office, I was working, and it's so funny, like I go out the front door, and it was probably 7:30 or something like that, so it was kind of an early night for me, and I'm talking to the custodian, we're chit-chatting, and it's still in my listening session phase, right? So he wanted to give me the dime on all the stuff, right? Like, so to tell me, which is great. I'm like, let me look into that, thank you so much, right? We're having this good conversation. So I usually do this thing where I flip the switch. This is my process. I flip the switch, I go like this, I go through, you know, then I lock it, and then I run through the door, and then I stay, and I watch it close, and I make sure it's locked, and then I walk to my car, right? So that night, him and I are chit-chatting, and I gotta tell you, there's a colleague who so lovely heard that I love okra stew and brought me okra stew to the district, dropped it off at the district office with all these accoutrements. And so I had that bag, I had my other bag, and I was like rolling. I was so excited, right? I'm like, I'm going home. I'm gonna like heat it up. So I'm driving on 8th. I'm going down 8th, and I just go up 12th, East 12th to go home, right? Go up the hill. So I'm at the light right by the Burger King, and I could feel out of the corner of my eye, like I could just feel somebody stopping short. And Like, it was the scariest shit that's ever happened to me in my, like, really, honestly. And so all of a sudden, they stopped and they were running to my car and they were running around my car and they were and I was trying to hit the lock and like put the thing, but somebody was in front of me and I was racing and I was shaking and it was raining and I was out of my mind. And so they smashed my entire window and I didn't know that I actually had my bag in the back, like behind, so I didn't know what had happened and I was panicking. I was calling my brother. He was on an airplane. I was hitting, and I'm like, where can I go? Because I don't want to, I'm thinking like, I don't know where to go. So I actually called President Johnson because I was thinking, I could go up to Miracle. Maybe there's a marina security, like this is my brain. It's not functioning at high levels. And I'm like skirting around. I mean, it was crazy. So I finally like kind of calmed down a little bit and I realized, I shouldn't go this direction or whatever. And he was amazing. I have to give President Johnson lots of kudos. He was like talking me through, like saying, you're gonna be. And he, so what he did is he was like, so if y'all don't know Dr. Johnson knows Oakland, so he knows some people. So, so he's like, I'm gonna call somebody, right? And you can go down to so he's like, you should go down because we don't want you waiting. I'm gonna have somebody waiting for you at OPD. I'm gonna have somebody waiting for you. So I don't know where to go. And it's dark now. It's very dark and it's raining and my window's smashed and I'm like, shaking. And the lucky thing is, sometimes I just feel like there is things in life that are meant to happen, right? Like I had a jacket on because I was so cold in the office. And when I left my house, I had it. And so I had put my car key in which I would usually put it in my backpack. And you know what I mean? Like my phone, they were like actually in my pockets. So I come to find out they had taken my bag, which had everything in it, my wallet, my computers, my iPad, everything. So I'm trying to find the entrance to OPD and I'm driving around and I finally get to the front. So I'm right there, like on Broadway and whatever, Washington, and nobody's out there. It's totally dark and I'm very disoriented. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And so I'm standing there, and then a car drives up, and two people hop out. A couple hops out, and they're like, "Is this where OP?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I don't know either. Somebody was supposed to, I'm like, somebody was supposed to meet me out here. I don't." And they're like, "Oh," and I didn't even see it. There was like a box on the wall that you could hit. It's like silver. It was so dark out, I couldn't see it. So they hit the button, and the buzzer went. And they went in and they said to me, yeah, we just got our car stolen. And so we're Ubering over here to try to figure out what's going on. So like comrades in arms, sort of like, what the heck? So I don't know if you've been down to OPD, but it's a beautiful building, but it's cavernous. So you walk in the front door and then you're like in this cavernous lobby and then you turn and it's a cavernous lobby because with COVID protocols and everything, ain't nobody doing anything, right? So everybody's gone. And then there's this big bullpen kind of thing where the guy's behind plexiglass, right? And I'm like shaking and waiting, and I let the couple go, they went first, so they're talking to him. So I finally get my turn to go up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this just happened to me, both, and and I was like, well, no, and I was like, and I actually had my phone, and I'm like, I could see my stuff walking around, because I have, the Apple stuff is all connected. I'm like, literally, there goes my AirPods. They're can you, he was the most inhumane experience. It was dehumanizing on top of what had happened, right? And what was weird to me is, so if you think about it, the bullpen was like this, I'm standing in front of it, but when you looked down out of your angled view, out of your periphery, what was interesting was there sitting right by the elevator was a huge stand with the picture of the slain officer, Officer No, who had just died and we had honored at a Peralta meeting because he had formerly been, remember, in the big shootout in Oakland, and he had been a former student at Merritt College and we had honored him. So to see his picture there and then just see somebody who didn't even say I'm so, hey, or I'm so sorry, right? He literally filled this paper out And I said, I don't have a pen. I don't. And he's like, there's pens on a table over there. And so there was one chair with a long table and some just like broke down big pens. So I'm trying to write my stuff like on the thing, and then I get it all filled out, and I walk up to the thing, and I'm, because it's a little higher than me, so I hand it to him, and there he takes it, and is gone. And I'm just like, what the? Right? And then he's like, okay, here's your form back. This is your case number, right? Like basically, here's your form, this is your case number. And then he says, I said, but wait, I can see my stuff. I said, I wrote all the numbers down. He's like, oh yeah, I'll call the dispatcher about it. Like, okay. That is, and so then he was like, you're done. And what was crazy to me was like, so I just told you like I kind of got carjacked, and then you're like gonna not even ask me if I need a ride home, like am I safe, like do I have keys to my house, nothing. And I walked out of that building and I said, never at our colleges will we ever treat anybody like that. Never at our colleges will we ever treat anybody like that. It is absolutely not the kind of service that we want to give to people. Right? So in addition to the crime that was already feeling, or the feeling of it, right? The feeling of unsafeness. Because I don't know that there's like a lot of unsafe things happening on campus per se. So let me just say that, right? With the statistics and stuff. But the outer community, when you're going back and forth to work, it's hard. So I had experienced that. And then I came to work the next day, and then we had to, it was a board meeting day. It's a pretty big board meeting day too. A lot of action at that board meeting, I'll just say. And I didn't have a computer, so I was like working off my phone. It was very crazy for like a week plus. And I couldn't drive in the car. I was scared. Like I won't drive on the street anymore. Like I put all my stuff in the back. But then what was paining me even more was that it was happening to our employees. So one of our employees was also, now this is not a Peralta thing, it's an Oakland thing, right? And it's not even an Oakland thing, it's the people coming into Oakland and trying to do bad things in Oakland, right? And trying to make us all, that's what was happening. But we had an employee who also had the same thing happen at gunpoint. 2 people stopped the car, smashed the windows, took their stuff. We had another employee coming to the Lunar New Year, right? But she had seen our safety tip. Right? And outsmarted them. I was so proud of it, right? Like they still smashed everything and did it. And we've had these incidents happen to our employees. So I want you to know, like, I'm taking it very, very, but it's palpable how unsafe folks feel. They are really wanting to feel safe. And we had put our public safety director on leave. Amy Marshall, I want to give her kudos. She stepped in and did a really incredible job. And so, so I didn't want to, I think maybe mentally I was trying, but I'm holding rocks about safety, frankly. And I'm just and part of it is I was looking at these young men and I was like, I'm trying to work for you. In my mind, I'm like, I'm working for you. I'm your homie. That's in my, stages of grief, right? So pain points. Let's go back to this. Distribution of FTF. So scheduled development and online versus in-person classes. So it's very interesting to me. And there were more faculty that I talked to who were like, we are tired, Chancellor. We are tired. We are tired of competing with each other. We're tired of a very small department that can't grow because we keep getting cut. We can't do the new program. We're tired. We want, I had biology faculty, English, faculty from multiple disciplines saying, I am tired. We can't keep doing this. How do we even function, right? And you all remember you took a major cut, right, before January began to the budget, right? And so it was a real thing. And then there was lots of debate and conversation about this pain point around somebody wanting somebody to make a decision about online versus, right? And it was kind of this dance thing. It's we want to know. And then half the faculty were like, we need to be back. And the other folks were like, no, we need to be online. And right? And I'll tell you, I went to College of Alameda a lot for a while. I was there quite a bit. like, ain't nobody there. Nobody. I could be on the campus, high time, low time, whatever, nobody there. Very few people. So, and the same was at Merritt, very few people, right? So again, these were these conversations. It's like, we want to bring people back to campus, we want to feel safe. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is very, very hard. So the other thing was the support for return to work. So faculty were also really talking, and staff, frankly, about in-person services instruction, accountability. I heard this over and over again. I'm just going to call it out here. People are going to be mad or whatever. And I'm just telling you what I heard. So people said, we are tired of full-time faculty who are our colleagues who are not here and teaching, and we know they're off somewhere else doing other things. People were saying that. They were like, we want you to do something about it, Chancellor. We want you to actually have people, have some accountability for those folks. Well, it's not that, right? It's like, these are very complicated things. And much of this time, I was talking about, and honestly, in some cases, like faculty were pained by the fact that they are solo in their departments. Pained, like near crying, pained kind of things. So this is like a really true issue. And so oftentimes what I would be saying is like, faculty need to have this conversation with faculty too, right? Like I'm willing to facilitate the conversation, but some of this needs to be about like, what kind of education do we want to give our community? What do we want to do? How do we want to be, right? That kind of stuff. But those were some major points we heard. And then another one was interest across the board. Interest in more classified professional development coordination was a huge one. Classified want opportunity to do things, to promote, to look at opportunities to grow their skill sets and do things, and felt like they've been left behind in some of that thing, right? So a lot of pain around that. And then the other one here, and I've kind of like mirrored them together, is this lack of onboarding and training. So there really were two issues. Across the board, everybody said onboarding is trash. I mean, that's kind of what they said. They were like, onboarding is really difficult, it's hard. And again, this is not a shot at an amazing team. I want to just say, we have an amazing team in human resources. I am like, and I want to thank our new Vice Chancellor, Interim Vice Chancellor, Andrea Epps, who's now been approved at the Board of Trustees meeting. And a video coming soon to a theater near you to introduce her more to you all. But so this, again, is not about that. It's just that, right, like, it's a concern. Like, what is our perception? How do we make sure people know things? And then about systems, how to do things, what processes are, where standard operating procedures were. And then the other thing they said is classified said overwhelmingly, we're tired of training managers. Right? I mean, we are tired of training managers because managers come and go and come and go and come and go, and we have to do their jobs for them in that way, in training. And it wasn't like a mad at the person thing, right? It's the systemic. It's the this just continues to happen. So that's kind of the main areas that really were like sort of salient that came out. There are a lot of other things that I already know are going on, right? Like that I have on my list of large goals that the board has for me that we're working through. But these were the ones that came through the listening sessions. So I wanted to come back and make sure that I told you, that I heard you. Now, hearing you doesn't always feel great, right? Because even though I have some of your rocks, you're still carrying some. I get it. So me and your rocks have been sitting in my office, and I'm just like, what can we do? So if all you can do is crawl, start crawling. Week 3, I was already akin to, baby girl, you better crawl your way through this, right? Like, I don't know how to be a chancellor. Like, okay, because this is not like, this isn't, this is like in the trenches kind of systemic sort of things. So that's the quote. That's the message to myself. That's the message to the board. So what we started to do is I'm going to talk to you about what I've been doing over the last 7 months, what we've been doing. And I'm not going to say what we've been doing, because really it is a we endeavor. It has been happening. But I just want to say, I heard you about the contract approval process. I did. And so what we did is we pulled together a contracts workshop in April where we had 70 plus employees there. And what we did is we went through this exercise of saying everybody wears a hat in this process. Let's not demonize the people, right? Because it was like, oh, legal, or oh, you know, this, or oh, that, or oh, the college doesn't do it right, right? It wasn't about that. It was like, how do we see the entire process and see what's happening? And look at those, it was generative. It was good. People gave solid feedback about what the issues were. And we were like saying, how do we work through these things? It's not remember I told you this in January, it's not a Tammeil thing, this is a we thing. So this is what people said, right? More details, stuck in finance, so frustrated, slowing us down, stuck in legal, get it done. And so I want to commend a team of folks, you know, for really listening to what they said. Contracts need to move more quickly. They need to have clear instructions and guidelines, right? We need more user friendliness. We need to be more efficient and streamlined, have standard operating procedures. And so a group of folks got together from these departments and started working on it. Y'all, they've been working on it. They've been taking the feedback and working on figuring out improvements. It doesn't happen overnight. But I gotta tell you, I'm so proud, right? Like, because progress is the crawl, right? We are crawling our way to improvements so that you can have a better lived experience here. And so what happened is on August 9th, this team got together and they presented back to that group that gave us feedback. My hope is that you see that I care about what you say to us. If you come to the thing and you give us your feedback, we're gonna invite you back and tell you what we're doing. And we want you to be involved. That's what I'm inviting you in. If you feel like your voice doesn't matter, it matters more now than ever in getting us through these things, right? So that's me coming back to you all. I made a promise to you in January I was gonna come back. So they came back, and this is the crew who did it. Amazing. Let's give a round of applause, even though. And it's not implemented yet. We're not there yet, but this is what the phase one. So it's phase one. It's a phase process, systemic, remember? So phase one, clear directions, right? That's what they wanted. Easier contract preparation, quicker turnaround. So we've got templates and things coming out, doing things a little bit more efficiently. Greater transparency through the review process. They're putting, you know, managers back up at the front instead of at the end. It's we're gonna make some really important changes. And these will all, if you are like, oh my God, I didn't know about it. We went back to the user group, the power users, to get their feedback about, did we hear you right? This team did it, not Tammeil, the team did it. I'm so proud, really proud. Increasing timely vendor payments. Should I move this thing? Can you see? Yeah, is my rock? Okay. And then, so the idea is that we're gonna be rolling out parts of this in fall 2024 with a full implementation of the first phase in January. So in a semester, we're gonna start to do, right, some improvements. So these are like notifications, things like that. It's a long way off, but I'll tell you, when I listen to people, to be honest, everybody always says it's the tech. Oh, PeopleSoft sucks, PeopleSoft sucks. I'm like, literally, I've heard that my entire, PeopleSoft sucks. And when I listen to everybody, I'm like, nah, I don't know that it's PeopleSoft, folks. It is us. It's our communication. That's really what I found. And I was like, and people were kind of seeing that too, right? We could use notifications, but it wasn't that PeopleSoft necessarily sucked. So we need to improve those kind of things. We urgently need to bring to our communities the limitless capacity to love, serve, and create for and with each other. Grace Lee Boggs, my shiro. Week 13, this was a quote that I had. So this lack of communication and transparency, it's hard to build on this. So, I've been trying. I tried to send you a video to tell you what was happening. I started to give chancellor reports. I want to thank Mark and the team, is also so that you're knowing at least what I know about the district. I want to celebrate you. If you want to tell me something, I want to talk about it, right? So I've had faculty, we've acknowledged classified have done things, whatever. That's if you want me to invite me to something, I want to come. I'm giving reports at every board meeting so that the board knows what's happened in the district, right? A formalized report that you can see. I'm giving announcements. So when Dr. Lester came, I gave an announcement out, right, about what was going on at College of Alameda. We had to get out there really quickly and make a decision and do things. And so that came out in a college-wide announcement. And I was in front of the college too. I came to the college. And then another example, my hair was very bad that day, but another video. that I did. I don't know why I thought, Mark, I should do a video that day. But my crimping iron, y'all remember crimping iron? So fun. It is very fun. It gives you a nice wave. But that looks like I slept on one side. And anyways, so the other part is like announcements like this, right? You saw that announcement around our new employees. So when we hired our amazing President Dixon and our new Executive Director of Public Safety and our new Deputy Chancellor and CEO, we sent out an announcement, and you all got to see what? Hopefully you watched them, videos. I'm trying to introduce you to people so that even though we can't be physically here, that you can meet them. So if you haven't had a chance to go on Peralta Gems and watch the videos, I hope you will. They're not long. Like, get to know people. I mean, this dude's got a 170-pound dog. Like, she can, like, cook. I'm going to her house. I mean, he can't cook, Abdul. So, like, can I tell you, he is hungry all the time, too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like, so you get to know people, right? Humanization is part of the key of all of this. So the search for COE's permanent president, that kind of came out of the blue. So I just want to be honest, it's the one major thing that we dealt with this year, accelerating some of that process. But we had a listening session. We came to campus. We said, we want to hear what you have to say. Come on, leadership, get together. Let's design out what we're doing. And man, oh man, did we get a winner. Yes, Dr. Melanie Dixon. And there she is. All right, on her first day, Melanie Dixon, we were proud. So we're trying to put out communication, right, on social media, on these things. So follow us, like us, do something, read a thing. You know, like we're on video, we're on, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like on Discord as much as I probably should be, or anyways, but we're trying. And so I think part of the trying is like, I want you to know that there's venues that we're trying to say things to you. So like try to meet us, you know, in the middle maybe. And then I've been trying, and I mean, I'm looking at my governance leaders to say like that I've been trying to be really like talking to people before I make a decision, like letting them know where we're at, trying to be upfront about what's happening, wanting to be in relationship. And I was laughing because they were like, well, Chancellor, this is what you gotta do. No, I'm like, no, we're running this district together, right? Like this is a we thing. So we've made a lot of leadership change. We've done a lot of stuff, and some of it we didn't know we were going to do, and a lot of it we had to do quickly, right? So this has been 7 months. So one of the things that President Goldstein talked about was this PBI summit we had on March 22nd. So this is, again, about participatory governance. This is about transparency. This is about how do we engage with each other. And so we had this huge thing where governance leaders from the PBIM committees got together and really like ideated and thought about what they wanted and talked about like how it feels. I mean, students were talking about how they're in committees, they don't have no idea what we're talking about. Why would they want to come to the committee? Everybody's like, students never come. Well, students don't feel like they can come because they're speaking in acronyms and talking fast and, right? And then people were saying like, it always feels adversarial, like, right? It doesn't feel, and it feels like we hear the same reports over and over and over, right? There was lots of feedback about what we didn't want and a lot of ideating about what we did want, right? What folks wanted. And so we had a really interactive day that I thought was good. And this picture was drawn, so we did this. Okay, so Jennifer, I hope folks don't be mad at me. So anyways, so we had an opportunity for people to draw or do something that actually like was creative to explain what they wanted from participatory governance in the district. And so this, if you, Alejandro, you could help me with is amazing. I just have to tell you, makes me cry.
Yes. Yeah. All right, so to give a little context, so our vision was to have a functional and effective participatory governance process that is impactful for our students and community. So we underline functional, effective, and impactful, and we've got a little song that goes along with it, all right, with our son.
Because we also believe participatory governance should be fun, right?
Yeah, it should be fun, it should be positive, and it should be
Right. So for those of you who know that, let's give it some
So we redid the words to "The sun will come out tomorrow" or "tomorrow" from Annie, okay?
The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your budget dollars that tomorrow
functional. Just thinking about Peralta, how we can make a difference for our students. It'll be functional. When we're stuck in a deficit with broken policies, let's build transparency for clarity and say, the sun will come out today. 'Cause of our commitment to this process, come what may. Peralta, Peralta, we love you, Peralta. Let's make an impact today.
Right? I mean, it was the bomb. It was really amazing. I mean, I had tears in my eyes. I went home that night and I said, this is the first good day I feel like I've had. I really was the energy. I got an email from an employee who said, I have never felt this way in all the years I've worked here. This reminds me why I want to work here. I am committed to doing this, right? And I think Matthew Chichetta and I were like, oh my gosh, okay, now what do we do, right? And I want to thank Matthew Freeman, because what we did is we took, and Stephanie Droker, who our previous deputy chancellor, who's now retired. So we got together, and what I'm going to just preview for you is some of the things. So all of this, I didn't use ChatGPT. I really wish I would have. I literally took all the notes from the thing and kind of changed it into action language about what folks said. And this is kind of the key objectives that we sort of came up with, which is, and I want to see that, participatory governance that ignites passion, purpose, and power, right? Let's come up, ignites. And so inclusive decision making, to create an environment where diverse voices are heard and valued, ensuring that decisions reflect the collective interests of the entire district community. That's what folks said in the notes that they wanted. We wrote it into action language. Transparency and accountability to maintain open communication and clear processes that build trust and accountability among all members of the district community. All, you keep seeing the word all. People really enjoyed being in community with each other, right? Less siloed and doing those things. Responsive to community needs, to develop policies and initiatives that are responsive to the evolving needs of students, faculty, and staff, enhancing the overall educational experience, right? Centering, aligning to students and what they're actually telling us they need. Promotion of academic excellence. So they really were saying we want to promote a culture of academic rigor and continuous improvement, aligning governance practices with the district's educational goals and standards. Equity and inclusion, you see that there, to advance equity and inclusion with the district addressing systemic barriers and promoting diverse representation in governance structures. And sustainable development was another one there. So to ensure the long-term sustainability of the district, let me just underline that. Long-term sustainability of the district, that this was a core objective of the decision-making that we make, and by integrating strategic planning and resource management into governance practices. And so we are having a retreat to follow up. So what's happened is we took all that feedback, just again, people have lots of things going on. So we've worked on it. I dropped the ball a little bit, we've gone on things, and so we have a draft that we're gonna share on August 30th, and it has a whole new decision and inquiry-based model. It's totally different, y'all. I know it's a little scary. I love Matthew and Tashetta, because it is a little scary, and we're looking at changing some things up, really doing away with some kidneys, changing things, really trying to, and aligning to the colleges. So again, interesting things. See, this isn't as inspirational, but okay. The other thing around transparency, and I want to thank our COO who came in, Greg Nelson. So we just did, if you didn't see it, the town hall. Over 80 of you participated in the town hall, and then we had the adopted budget presentation also at the Board of Trustees meeting on Tuesday night. Excellent work by the entire finance team. I want to say thank you to them all for their incredible work. But what we're trying to do is create something that's more transparent. So it's landscape now, it's bigger. The budget book. Go online, check it out. It's there. And what we did is now all the college stuff is together. So you could like literally rip Berkeley City College out and have all your information versus it's being on multiple different pages for different funds. The colleges are together, so you can pull that out and take a look at it yourself. So there's more graphs and visuals. There's better organization. And one of the things that we also did is that town hall meeting, which I want to thank our governance leaders for helping us do, is I'm not going to go totally into the budget today. I'm going to do a little piece. We're going to come to the colleges. So I want you to know my plan is in September. We're going to be doing a roadshow on the budget and some other things that are happening in the district so that we can have conversation and you can know about it. But basically what I want you to see here again is that we basically roll on a 3-year average for FTS. And ultimately what the budget is that we have been in a place where we have had consistent reductions that we're doing. So if you have not seen the tentative budget presentation or the adopted, it's important that you see it. We are going to take $11.1 million cut this year for us to function. It's not a small thing. But we've done it in a way that we've never done things before here, which is it takes a while to hire people here, right? It does. For positions that we have on the books, like for instance, I went out for something, like it doesn't fill, or just takes 6 to 8 months. That's salary savings that actually comes back. And then that's one of the things that the PFT was talking about. Right? Why does the reserve go up so big all of a sudden at the end of the thing? It's a lot of it is around sweeping the salary savings that come back. So rather than asking the colleges and the district to cut to the bone, I'm trying to do something different that the other districts do. It's just they budget it in. They budget in some percentage of what they think that they might have because you have vacancies, right? Again, it's not a long-term sustainable plan because we're going to get tighter and better at this. But for right now, so that we can actually have some breathing room, we're going to bank on that we can hit a $6 million target on salary savings. And I think we're going to get there. I feel pretty confident about it. And then we have a district discretionary budget target. So you'll see that there, it's $2.1 million, and we had to revise at the adopted budget. So I won't go into the whole story here, but what I'll say to you is this. This is about the fact that that contracts process where I'm at the end of it? I see all y'all stuff, right? I was like, why are there so many why do he have so many water contracts? Why are there 20 transportation contracts? I was like, why is that? We can't pay our bills, but then also we're all using different things in a single college district, right? When maybe we could get economies of scale for certain things, find efficiencies, get rid of stuff, right? Because every single dollar that you want, I wanted to put back into your things. And then when you don't have budget, and I just want to say this thing, so you all said one of the major concerns was on facilities and stuff, we don't budget for it. We don't budget. We use bond dollars to do new stuff, but we have very little budget set aside for the ongoing things that come up. And we know we have aging facilities. So you have to help me, right? Because we can't do it all. 83% of our budget is salaries and benefits, right? So we are calling on all of us. So every college president, everybody, this year, we are looking at discretionary savings where we can work together and collaborate. It is a goal at the colleges that you're talking to each other. I know Louis, for instance, was talking about the 50th anniversary of EOPS that's come, right? Celebration. He was like, how can the colleges work together? So maybe you're not all doing separate things, but maybe come together. And we have examples of it happening across the district already, right? This is the stuff we need your ingenuity and thinking through these things. So those are reductions that have already happened. And then I know you can't read this. I just wanted to show you that what happened is we used to have a budget that only had the last year, the estimated in the next year, very little years. Now this has a 7-year frame. So it's showing you 7 years of budget data. So every year you're going to get better at it, right? But what happens is we're 90% sure that our adopted budget numbers are solid, right? And then it starts to, we transition every year as we get closer. We're getting closer and closer to what we think the projections are. But there are some important things that we're going to talk to you about when we come there, which is not only the reduction, but what we're looking out to in the future. Folks, we have been getting paid for stuff that we don't It's like layaway, but no layaway, right? It's like when I used to do the blue light special with my family at Kmart, right? Like you lay away and you think you're gonna get it, but we're laying away on things that this year becomes our floor. So what we earned in hold harmless, and it's a provision, like hold harmless is like guarantee program kind of, right? It's saying to us colleges, like you all, we've been getting funded at a much higher level than the number of students we bring in, right? And our expenses are continuing to rise. So you see this here. So we are around a little, this is where we're getting our actuals is the bottom line of FTS we've earned. And the funded amount, the blue line, and I just think it's very funny because if you watch the budget, the district thing, like the CEO can't see colors or something, so he's like, that's chartreuse, or I don't know. He was like, I don't know if that's baby blue, or so it was very cute in the presentation. It was very funny. You should watch it. It made me laugh. It's a humanizing thing. He's like, and so you can see where the projection is. There, we just have a difference, right? Our expenses are continuing to rise, and we're not going to do that. So what happens is we'll still get funded at the rate we are this year, right? If we don't go above what we're funded at, if we don't hit and we're not likely to, right? We're not likely to do it, but we're doing better. We are doing better each semester. But what happens is we don't get COLA anymore. So let me just tell you. So what happened is between the adopted budget, the tentative budget and the adopted budget, the governor said COLA is going to be 1.2. 1.02, 1.07, see, that's good. 1.07, one of us knows. 1.07, and so what happens is that COLA goes to every area in the SCIF. Every area we get funded for, it adds a COLA to it, so it adds that thing. We will no longer get that. So we will stay flat, right? So there's no COLA to us. It stays flat for this amount of time. So the money we have is the money we're going to have, unless we get entrepreneurial about other things or we reduce or we do things, right? So we're coming to a college near you to have a longer conversation. We'll go in deeper, but watch the presentations too, because we go into it a little deeper and you can look at it a little closer. So the quote, coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. And so lack of district service center things, we've brought people back. Folks are coming back. We're creating community in the district office. I love the district service center team meeting. People hadn't even met each other. Like people even in our office hadn't met each other. We had our first employee recognition ceremony for, they deserve to be like employees who worked there 30 something plus years and stuff like that, never being recognized. It was time, right? So we're trying to build a culture back here, and we just had the most bomb potluck. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was delicious. People came out. It was so beautiful to see people together. So we are trying to create that. So you should be hearing, and I've heard already from the college, it's getting better. We're going to get better. So staff are back, and our managers and folks. So it's a little lively over there. So come over and visit for sure. It always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela, week 10. So unsafe working conditions. This is a huge one, right? I'm not going to be that. We adopted and rolled out the RAVE emergency communication system. So that happened this last time. So I don't know how many of you have gotten the RAVE communications. We had a little fire over here. So you should be able to enroll every employee, student, active. It's only used for emergency purposes. So we have now adopted that and rolled it out last semester. We paid a bunch of outstanding vendors. And negotiated important vendor contracts. So we had a vendor contract who said, we're not going to pay you. We had a legal notice against us, right? Sorry, only player in the game. You can't do any of the work that we need to do here until we come to the table and be able to do it. And I want to really thank that representative who I was able to build a relationship with, who fought on the side of the company to help us get to the table, and we got an agreement pushed through and approved by the board this last board meeting. So we're going to be moving forward on those contracts that are ongoing maintenance for particular things that we need. We addressed the vote of no confidence. If y'all didn't know, I got a vote of no confidence from Laney College. I appreciate it. On facilities, absolutely. So we tried to address it the best way we could, right? I came, I studied, I researched, we went through the participatory process, and it said what I thought I could commit to and what we could do. At that time, I was taking over District General Services too. I want to thank BC Hoff and Amy Marshall also, and the entire DGS team for stepping up in the absence of folks while we were trying to do things. We got a federal earmark. So thank you to Congresswoman Barbara Lee. We got a federal earmark to help us work on public safety with a holistic health and wellness focus. So we're working on rolling some work out now. And we launched that public safety survey and assessment. So you all should have had that opportunity to give feedback. And so we've done that. And then we hired key new leadership. So there you go. There they are. So we've been rolling. So strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. Mahatma Gandhi, right? That's a good one. Okay, you can clap. Okay. So this is the main pain points around this one. I'm just going to be quick. So here's some of our faculty leadership at the fall plenary, at the spring plenary, and I want to thank the faculty for sending it to me because I got to put it in my board report and talk about it. But I attended the district academic senate meeting and talked about the concerns that had, and I said, like, maybe what we should do is a multi-year schedule, right, that promises and guarantees sort of schedules for faculty and for students, right, that we think about this in a frame. So, like, let's start to have a conversation about what that looks like. Let's look at discipline pathways across the colleges. I am proposing, and you'll see it if you come to the thing or you'll hear about it later, a new district-wide student success and enrollment management committee at the district to work on FTF allocations, FTS targets, those particular things, talking about the discipline work so that we aren't working at cross purposes with each other. You're having discipline meetings today, right? So get into the conversations with the data. I want to thank our Vice Chancellor, Tina Vasconcelos, our Associate Vice Chancellor, Dr. Herrera, are you here? There you are. Okay. Francisco Herrera, for the research team, you're going to be talking about what you're seeing in the data. What are students declaring? Are they completing? What's happening? How can we do this better? Getting into the key things of things. And we're reviewing district policies and procedures, right? We need to continue to do this. And then we're also having a focused collaboration on A&R and financial aid, and actually working on sort of how across the colleges things can be streamlined together and similar, because frankly, we have ways to grow our TCR, and this was in the budget presentation, but engage in student-centered course scheduling, look at maximizing financial aid. We need our areas to be working together more. Additionally, if you look at our head count, so this is a picture of our students and where we're at as of the spring 2024 demographics. So you can see we remain incredibly diverse. You can see, again, the most of our students, I love the fact that more non-binary students are actually letting us know, right? So that percentage has gone up in time. But you see that head count there that you could see across the colleges. But 41% of our students, and I actually think it's gone up since this graphic, but 41% of our students take classes at least 2 colleges, and 17% take it at 3 or 4 of the colleges, right? Like, they're going to all of the colleges. So when I was at graduation, I had the stole with all of the things. Students were coming up to me saying, I need that stole, because I had every logo from every college on me. So we are 6 cities, 4 colleges, but we're 1 district, right? And I'm not going to say 1 Peralta, but I am going to say, right? I know, I had to do it. It's fun. Okay, so embrace the swirl. So what we're trying to do is embrace the swirl. So swirl doesn't have to be a bad thing. Students are telling us. Let's embrace what they're telling us. Let's really dig in and think about what's going on. And here's a Michelle Obama quote, right? You may not always have a comfortable life, and you will not always be able to solve all of the world's problems at once, but don't ever underestimate the importance you have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. So here, again, classified professionals, you heard Hope Lane talk about it, so I'm not going to repeat her, but pictures from the first classified development day. You see Jamil Tier here, who is yes, again, appointed. We're so proud of her. And then also some examples of classified going to conferences, statewide conferences. And then here, again, our summer symposium that we just hosted, and we're launching a book thing, and we'll have a fall symposium coming in November. Before you run your race, you gotta find a pace. Just make sure you cross the line and the time it takes. Nipsey Hussle, Perfect Timing, 2018. If y'all haven't read Nipsey's book, y'all gotta read it. It's powerful. And so I sent this to the board. I didn't hear any reactions to my quote that week. So that was just recently, week 26. So you all might remember that a former chancellor of ours passed away. Dr. Donald Galbold. And I'm just to say this really quickly. I think I just want you to know, the rocks are kind of weighing me, right? At a certain point, getting tired a little bit. And then one of the things that happens is I'm like running a race, and then I realize, so Dr. Galbo was first the president of Merritt College, right? He came, I think, from Texas or something, and then ended up being the vice chancellor, and then became the chancellor for a period of time. But he wrote a book, A Career in Community College Administration. So I went on Amazon just to look at, or I Googled it, and then Amazon came up. And I went on it, and I looked, and it's a very long book synopsis, and it's true to him, right? But what he says about our district decades and decades ago is still true today in some ways. Not all of it, but some of it is true, right? And so I thought to myself, gotta take a deep breath. Like systemic, right? It's not gonna happen overnight. So I'd rather regret the risks that didn't work out than the chances I didn't take at all. Simone Biles. So let me talk about purpose really quick. There is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. This was week 15, and Alejandro, could you play?
I am currently graduating with an associate's in psychology with a minor in sociology and ethnic studies.
I will be graduating from Berkeley City College with 3 different degrees.
As we step out into the world, let us remember that our future is ours to shape, and that anything is possible if we believe in ourselves and never lose sight of our dreams.
Graduated from high school in 1971. I'm graduating from college at the age of 71.
I'll be graduating this year, and I'll be transferring to UC Berkeley's Haas School of Business with highest honors.
Graduating today with a 4.0 overall GPA with highest honors, and I'm just so excited. I did this for my mom.
To my children, thank you for being the best supporters and motivators of my life. And the 6 degrees that I earned are all due to you.
Hi, I'm Jamisha Harris. I am class of 2024. My major is psychology, but I will be walking the stage with 4 degrees. I was just out of school for 11 years. I've been back for just 1 year, and I have accomplished so much. I'll be transferring to Cal State East Bay to work on my bachelor's in psychology, and I'm just super excited.
My fellow graduates, this moment is confirmation that our struggles do not define us. Matter of fact, bump the word struggle. Our hustle is what strengthens us, and our resilience guarantees our success.
My passion in community at Laney College has made me want to pursue a degree in anthropology and perhaps be a social scientist.
I was able to find such a strong community in BCC that encouraged me to be active on campus, and it's something that I'll miss so much, and it's something that helped me grow as a person, and I'm very lucky to have studied here, and I'm very excited for what's next.
Thank you so much to Student Trustee Masson. Today, this afternoon, we were standing over in the corner, and Trustee Masson whispered in my ear that she got into UC Berkeley, and I burst out in tears.
And although it was difficult, I managed to maintain a 4.0 GPA, and now I am graduating with honors. I am beyond grateful and excited to announce that I will be transferring to the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA.
I want to express my deepest gratitude to the world-class faculty and administration at Berkeley City College. Thank you. You have changed my life.
Thankful for the rock program, thankful for the Emoji program, all the teachers I had, the counselors, and everybody just really was there for me, supporting me. While incarcerated, my mom graduated from college. Her name is Pauline Johnson. She was a 2017 valedictorian, and that kind of sparked the flame in me.
Let's step into this new chapter of our lives with great promise, great hopes, and knowing that our future is brighter than our past. Congratulations, class of 24. We did this.
Your presence means the world to me and my fellow graduates.
Educators know we often learn as much from students as we teach them. And I've learned firsthand the power of resilience, determination, service, and kindness. Thank you for igniting and being a bright light and touchstone for me. I am so proud of you. You got to mark your calendars for graduate commencement, y'all. I got to see you out there. It is the most amazing part of the work that we do. And I've got to tell you, I stood on this stage in 2017 when Paulina was the valedictorian. And to hear that her son was incarcerated, sitting in a cell, listening to her after 21 years of drug abuse and violence and all these things, and wanted to pull herself out, came to the Rock program, cleaned her life up, came in and graduated as a valedictorian and transferred, and her son then transformed his life. Generations of people, you are changing the lives. We have a responsibility in this community to do well on the things that are systemic, right? And so there have been all these ceremonies that many of you don't come. I hope you'll start coming, right? We're getting out. We had the first AAPI graduation, district-wide. Folks are coming together across the campuses already. The Lavender graduation that we had at BCC, the international graduation that we had at BCC. We also had the Raci's graduation, right? So district-wide graduations happening, celebrations of our students and their accomplishments, and we're coming across the 4 colleges together to celebrate them. And these our student trustees, they changed my life. They're amazing. But what we have before us are radical possibilities, my friends. And I know I'm close to time. I always do this. 2 minutes. So in every community, there's work to be done. In every nation, there are wounds to heal. In every heart, there is power to do it. And there is power right here. All the things I talked about today are about y'all. Tammeil did not do this on her own. This is a we thing, right? And so we have amazing things happen. Berkeley City College for 50 years, right? Like we had a naming ceremony for the bullpen at Laney College, and I got to tell you, like more alumni came out to that event and were crying about how much the college and the coaches had changed their lives. Like heck of people were in the stands. Like, I got to go to the Peralta Online Equity Summit, right? Dedham, like everybody, right? Kevin Kelly, Chelsea, Inger, all these people, right? 700, like across, internationally. The district is doing amazing things. We have a lot of brilliance in us. We've got incredible managers too. So y'all want to say, I want to say thank you, managers. We have an incredible management team who also is holding down things. And we've had retreats and we're working together. So I want to give kudos to them. And we did our first Flying Pig Awards. I told you I'd do it and we did it. We did it. We honored our first group of Flying Pig Award winners. And I want to thank Marcus Creel for coming up with this amazing design. And you can see the Laney Fab Lab creating the designs for the awards, and many of your colleagues are getting honored. And pigs fly, folks. We can do it. This is opportunity. We can actually make it happen. And then I'm going to end here. I'm not going to show the last thing, and I'll send it out to everybody as a reminder. But there is this power of learning. So the speaker series was a really honored thing. Could I get help with my panels? So I want to tell a story what happens. So I was at this event. Maria Spencer, one of our colleagues, was doing one of the speaker things. So it was at the district office. She was showing us her crafting, what she could do with her crafting skills. It sparked a conversation that was like, hey, look, like I do this. And I was like, I craft and we craft, and everybody was crafting. And it was an amazing sort of thing. And what happened here is, you see these leaves behind these folks? This is what it is. These leaves behind them on the screen. Laura Leone, Maurice right there. Can stand up, please? Is a beautiful, talented, exceptional human being and quilter. And they'd seen some in the offices, and we started talking about just what ignites your passion. She's like, and we started talking about what could we do? And we're like, let's do a quilt. Yes, let's do it. So she went out and sat at every college, and there are words on these things that people wrote in their native languages. They wrote in other things about what their passion, purpose, and possibilities are. And she designed this off of what you saw at the PBIM retreat that a student, right? Natasha Masandru. And this is gonna hang in the we're gonna get it like painted soon, and the floors redone in the main area of the atrium, but this is gonna hang here. And this is where a small thing seeds to something pretty exceptional. And so Laura, I'm really grateful to you. And you all, do you see this rooted? Laney and BCC, you see the trees and the stuff. So really, really proud that this represents all of you, students and employees who contributed to the leaves of the tree. So thank you. We're not gonna have time, unfortunately, to watch this video, but I know many of you knew our colleague, Mary Shaughnessy, who passed away in February. And if you haven't had a chance to watch her moth win for the Grand Slam, and I really encourage you to do it, because what she talks about is that ethic of love. And this is what I've told you all that I'm about, right? We'll send it out, Mark, on announcements to remind people. I hope you'll take. It's amazing. It's 10 minutes. And this is your colleague who spent 17 years of her life here in this district. And I don't need to look any farther than the brilliance in this room, across this district, for the answers we need, my friends, for the ability for us to do what we need to do. So we're loving you. We're loving the future for our students. And this is a transformation worth fighting for. I'm asking you to join me this year. You have to do it. We cannot do it alone. We will not make it if we do not work together. I will get down on my knees if you wanted me to. Honestly, it is a transformation worth fighting for. Our students deserve it. You deserve it. Our community deserves it. And so what are we going to do with these rocks? What are we going to do with these rocks? They balance rocks with nothing. You got to watch some videos. I went down a rabbit hole. Remember how I told you it takes me a while? What are we going to do with these rocks? So these rocks we're going to transform. These rocks are something, right? This isn't just pebbles that you're holding. Let's transform it into the next iteration of the Peralta Community College District. And I'll send you my favorite song later. You could play it when I leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chancellor. I'm feeling the Peralta love. How about you all? Oh, we're so lucky. So lucky. So quick thank yous. Thank you, Vice Chancellor Vasconcelos, for helping us plan this day. Alejandro, Peralta TV, Angel, Joe, Laney Facilities, Janice, for organizing everything. There's a beautiful lunch set up for you at the bistro. Let's go break bread, and we'll see you this afternoon for discipline meetings at 1:05, as well as some other amazing workshops. All right, thanks everyone. See you down there.